All right. It's Friday, Good Friday. It's actually Good Friday, the 18th of April this year. Easter is on Sunday. And so the markets are closed today. Which is fine with me. I prefer the markets to be closed these days because it seems like they're always red days. And that's not good for my state of mind. I'm trying to find a state of mind that basically, can we catch that in the frame? That's, I don't know how to hold a camera selfie-wise. This guy, well, that guy, he's coming at me. This guy's coming at me. This hanging wishbone vine. It tried to swallow me. It tried to grab me with its pincers. Pincers? Those pincers pinch. I wanted to get the motion in the background. It's kind of like, what do you call it? A soothing motion. A lullaby. Not that I want you to fall asleep while I'm talking. You can. Just please leave the video playing. I could use the watch time. I'll try not to disturb your nap. And I congratulate you if you are choosing to take a nap, because that's what I like to do. I think there's never a bad time for a nap. I mean, obviously within reason. Use your sense. Your unique, uncommon sense to when to take a nap for you. But if that time is now, I congratulate you. And I'll try not to disturb your nap, your slumber. As I talk about today, Good Friday, as I said, market's closed, Easter's on Sunday. It's 65 degrees and climbing a little bit, not much. It's mostly towards the high. I don't think it's going to get maybe to 70, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't feel humid, and it's mostly sunny. I think clouds are going to be rolling in. And it's a nice, stiff 20 mile per hour or so breeze. Gusts. It's nice. And it's, like I said, April 18th, so things are still starting to turn green. For sure, nothing's fully green even yet. Maybe that's not exactly true. But see, like, these guys are still coming in. And like, those guys, I don't know if they're dead or they're just slower comers. They come slower, not fast. It takes all kinds, you see, in the realm of verdure, flora, also fauna. But fauna, we're not talking about fauna, we're talking about green. The grass is green out there in that field, but there's a lot of brown stick trees that don't even have any green at all on them, from what I can tell. And then there's some that do. And I like a nice slow April. I like to roll like a slow roll through my Aprils. Because then it's going to be May, and then it's going to be June, and then summer's over. Doesn't it feel ironic and horrible that the first day of summer is the longest day of the year? I think the last day of summer should be the longest day of the year, if you ask me. And the first day of the summer should also be the longest, and it should stay the longest every day of the summer. I've said this before. I don't think I'll ever stop saying it. It crushes my soul a little bit, just a little bit, that the days are starting to get shorter on the second day of summer already. It's like, that doesn't feel like it should be right. That's why I like the spring the best, because the days are getting longer still, which is just hopefulness in the air. Just the light itself, the revolution of the earth itself is hope. Because the days are getting longer. Because I like a longer day, because it's just nicer. It's just nicer. I like the sunlight. I like it at noon. I like it when it rises. I like it at 5 p.m. I like it at 7:30 p.m. I want it at 9:30 p.m. if I can get it, but I have to move pretty far north for that latitude. So we get to 8:35 for a few days at the beginning of summer, when it should be at the very least the middle of summer. That's what summer should mean. Anyway, I've switched my allegiance to spring. If summer's going to do me like that, then I'm going to go to spring and get what I need from spring, which is nicer anyway. It smells nicer. I like the greens better. I like the lighter greens better than the darker July greens. I like the April and May greens. And the flowers, you don't get much flowers. You get, whatever you got to plant flowers in the summertime, but like the nature flowers, the ones that come on trees and bloom in nature-wise, those start in April. Maybe they also continue in the summer, but whatever. I've abandoned the summer. It's fine. Summer, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't affect me anymore. It's already over for me by the time summer starts. I've already committed to the deep, long depression of the growing darkness of each and every day until the first day of winter, which on the flip side, that's kind of maybe the nicest thing about winter is on the second day of winter, it starts to get lighter. I know the price I pay for that is the bleak summer, which I'd rather not have that. I'll take a desolate, dim, grim winter if I could just keep my summers longest day of the year. Every day of the summer is the longest day of the year. If I could just keep that magic, but I can't. So I found my magic in April, and today's basically, might as well be the middle of April, and it's a nice slow one. Or these trees are all dead, which makes me very sad if I contemplate that. These creeper vines did a number this season. When I was filming about the bleach woods, what I didn't know is that was the last year of the bleach woods. I don't think so. But there is a lot of dead trees also. And these creeper vines sure are nice. I mean, look at it. Look at all that. I saw just all those thin creepers. Just completely, this tree is completely, it's just a fence post for creepers to live on now. Or some sort of a post, an X tree. What's an X tree? Just a post? I mean, it's not a stump. It's a full-on tall X tree, but it's not a tree anymore. And them creeper vines sucked all the life out of it or something. I don't know how they kill it. I would have thought, like, as long as it can grow leaves and there's a sun, it can live. But I don't know. I don't know much about my nature. I don't really know much about it. I can speculate till the cows come home. I'm good at that. That's what I'm good at. I need to hold this phone right up against so you can see my wrinkly face. Yeah, my skin's aging. That's for sure. That is for sure. I don't do a good job moisturizing it. So I get what I deserve, I guess. I wouldn't really want to grow a beard up around my eyes. That would be weird. But I wouldn't mind the wrinkles going away and the dry skin becoming moisturized. I guess I could do something about it by drinking more moisturizer and using more moisturizer. Drinking more water, which probably I need to do. And put that moisturizing cream on my face, which I feel like is just asking for zits, right, when I do that. It's a dangerous game, even at this ripe old Gen X age. If I get my skin nice and moisturized, it feels oily. And when it feels oily, that's the precursor to pimples, in my experience. If I'm correct in my observations and memories, which I could be miscorrect on. Oh. Yeah, so one thing I also discovered, pretty sure I rediscovered it, but mostly first time I can remember an experience, which is probably not true, but it's the first time that I can remember an experience, but maybe not the first experience, that the wind makes a sound despite the trees. When the gusty wind comes in, I heard it like it was coming in, and I'm looking at these trees, and there's not as many trees as there are here right now, not nearly as many. And they were barely moving. And yet it was windy, like I expected the trees to be moving. And of course, there's no leaves in these trees really anyway. So like the wind has its own sound, apart from the sound that it interacts with when it interacts with things. When it hits like a tree and the tree sways in the wind and you hear that's what I thought that sound was. But no, that's a different sound. Like that faint kind of whispery sound up there. It's like, yeah, that's the wind in the trees. It might be there, but it wasn't a half an hour ago when I started this hike and the wind's coming down this alley making a sound and no trees were really moving. I'm like, that is not the sound of the trees. That's the sound of the wind. And they say stuff like howling wind and whatnot, right? Like, what about like in Antarctica? Does the wind make a sound? Because there's like no trees there. You know, when the wind just comes rushing, like the change in whatever pressure, like barometric pressure. I don't know what causes a wind. Temperature changes. A force happens, and that pushes air, which is what wind feels like, and that makes a sound when it moves, which I never really thought about. There's no way that loud sound is coming from that one little tree. But I can't tell if those are new growths. They are new. Good. They were brownish from this angle, not reddish. And I was concerned. And there's really no green up in any of these trees. They're all in these bushes and shrubberies. But that's because a lot of this stuff has red growth, bloody growth. Maybe that's one of the consequences of the creeping vines. It turns the leaves gradually from green to blood red brown. You know, like the rusty blood of dried blood. It's not bright red like TV blood. It's more brownish. Like these are new growths. They look like dead leaves from a distance, brown like dead leaf. But no, they used to be green a decade ago, I think. I'm wondering. That's my question. But then these creepers came in, and that's how they get you. They slowly turn your green into dried blood red brown, which doesn't work with the sun. That's how it does it. You need green. That chlorophyll is green. You need that. Sun works with green leaves and green grass and green things to make energy for trees to live, to build their saps and their bark and their height and their girth. All of it. The rings that they make for themselves inside those rings, tree rings, they build those with sunlight. They convert that into rings. That's how they grow. That's what a tree's life is, those rings. But it can't do it with a brown leaf. That's why dead leaves are brown also. They don't keep the tree alive. I don't know if I'm right about this or not, but there's not a lot of creepers on this tree. Not a lot of them, right? It doesn't seem like a lot of them, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for every tree that doesn't have creepers on it. That guy didn't even go bleachwood. I mean, there is a couple of strong creepers going up, but there's not like a crazy choking, but that's how it starts. And now those used to be green things, those reddish blood red things used to be green, but now they're not. So they grow, there's a momentum to a tree. So they grow for a few years like this. They come in slightly less green every year, and then more and more brown red every year after that. And then eventually they stop growing at all because the sun doesn't recognize it. Brown means dead to the sun. Blood red brown is just a perverse insult for the creepers to make it look like it's dried blood. All it has to do is not be basically green or like yellow. You know, any kind of the greens, any of the greens. Brown is good enough. It could be, just make it brown, but no, they had to insult it by making it look like blood red just to spite the tree, because everybody knows those vines are going to kill it now because there's no chlorophyll in them blood red dead leaves. They're the harbingers of death for the tree. They're not dead yet. Like I said, the tree's got a momentum. So these ones look even further along. These look browner. Yeah. Again, notice there's just one main vine going up that tree on the outside there, and it's got a bunch of spiral, gross, thick other muscular vines around itself. But it's growing up as one unit, really. See? See how brown those leaves are? Look at that bird. There's two of them, and they're talking. Listen. I disturbed him. I screwed him. This guy's gonna leave too. He's barking. Oh shit. Did you see that? It whistled. Birds can bark and whistle. I knew they could whistle. I didn't know they could bark, really. I like to make fun of them barking. Like it's a funny thing that they don't actually bark or laugh, but they for sure do. There's people. There's two people with a dog way down there. I don't know if they're gonna come all the way up here or not, but I'm gonna stand here and just talk to myself. Yeah, that piercing whistle. That's a black and orange bird. I don't know the name of it. It's mostly black, but when it flies, you can see it even when it's not flying. But right around its wings on either side is like these orange reddish rectangles. I feel like it's right where their wing joins their body, but also partly on the wing. I didn't get a good look. I'm not a good bird watcher. They're pretty birds. They put me in mind of a clown bird, but they're not clown birds. Clown birds don't look like that. Nor do they sound like that. Clown birds have a clown laugh. They laugh. They're birds that laugh. They're laughing birds. Most birds don't laugh, but a clown bird does. There's other laughing birds. Clown bird's one of those laughing birds. Yeah. No, most birds don't have a laugh, but you could hear it. I can't remember what it sounds like though. That's not it. But what about that other one? Maybe that one is it. Wait. There's a bajillion clown birds around me, or every bird has a clown bird laugh, and I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong about clown birds. Does every bird make that sound? That sounds like a different sized bird making it. It's the same. Are there mimic birds? That's not a clown bird. It's too small. I can tell by its voice. It's a small bird. Clown birds they're not small birds like chickadees. They're average sized small birds. They sound bigger than that. And so they do. But that's a mimic bird. Making fun of the clown bird's laugh. It got me for a minute because there's like 4 different clown birds around me. I can't see none of them, but I can hear them. They're laughing at me. I mean, not at me per se, but like that's the way I'm characterizing it. Like there's like 2 over here and 2 back there at different spots. They're not next to each other. There's 4 different. Oh, and that's something different. That's that barking bird. It's got 3 different sounds. It had that whistle. It had that bark chirp that we were listening to, and then it had that explosion. But up there is a mimic bird acting like a 5th clown bird. But it can't fool me because it's too small to be a clown bird. That's what I'm thinking. I like being out in nature by myself, it turns out. I don't want there to be lots of people around or really anybody around because I like to talk to myself. It's nice. Anyway, April 18th, Good Friday. It is a Good Friday. You've been waiting for me to say that. There you have it. Looking up at the hill, there's some green, mostly yellowish green, like the very early greens, the April greens, the greens that I love. And then there's some trees further along. And then there's some pine trees that have that same evergreen look. That's why they're called evergreen trees. That's nice. And then mostly a lot of brown sticks that are slowly turning unbrown. And there are some red ones. Maybe I'm wrong about these blood red creeper vine victims. Unless those also have creeper vines, I can't see that good. I can't see that good ahead. Yeah, it looks like I'm talking on the phone to somebody. And there's a house up there, and there's a road up there. And there's some big dead trees. I don't know if they're dead. They just haven't leafed out yet. That one looks like it might. I hope it's not. It's a pretty tree. It's a pretty twisty trunk. And so is that one over there. These are bigger trees. They spread out more. I tell you, I think the wind has a sound above and beyond what it interacts with. Anyway, I'm gonna close this video since these people don't seem to be turning around, and maybe I'm gonna turn around. It's nice though. I like that breeze. It's nice and cool. Yeah. It's probably too loud anyway. It's a family. It's not a dog. It's a little child and a man and a woman. What would be the nice thing for me to do? Probably just turn around and head walking towards them. I'll just wait here for a minute, not staring at them. See if they continue up this way, because they paused. If they turn around, I'm going to stay. They keep coming this way. So I'm going to go and walk towards them. And we get to do this for the next months, because the weather's going to be like this for the next months. So I'll do this again with you sometime.